Dreams shape the tapestry of our lives, weaving together our hopes and aspirations into a vision of tomorrow. For Bethany Decker, a vibrant 21-year-old student at George Mason University, those dreams were as boundless as her determination to achieve them. In the halls of this prestigious institution, she pursued not just a degree in global and economic change, but a future she believed could make a difference in the world. The year was 2011, and Northern Virginia was experiencing one of its coldest winters on record. But inside the university's bustling corridors, Bethany's warmth touched everyone she met. Friends remember her infectious laugh, the way her eyes would light up during discussions about global economics, and how she could make even the most complex theories seem accessible to her study groups. Bethany wasn't just any college student. She was a master of balancing life's many demands. While most of her peers focused solely on their studies, she worked full-time at a restaurant, maintaining a schedule that would exhaust even the most energetic person. But there was something else that set Bethany apart. She was a mother, devoted to creating a beautiful future for her young son. Bethany's academic journey. Bethany's academic journey at George Mason University was marked by a relentless pursuit of knowledge and a deep commitment to her studies. She chose the Global and Economic Change program because she believed that understanding the economic forces shaping the world was crucial for making a positive impact. Her professors often remarked on her exceptional analytical skills and her ability to connect theoretical concepts to real-world applications. One of her most significant academic projects was a research paper on the economic impact of microfinance in developing countries. Bethany spent countless hours poring over data, conducting interviews with microfinance experts, and analyzing case studies. Her paper, titled Microfinance, A Pathway to Economic Empowerment, was praised for its thoroughness and innovative approach. She argued that microfinance, when implemented correctly, could provide a sustainable pathway out of poverty for millions of people. Her findings were presented at a regional economics conference, where she received accolades from both peers and professionals. Another notable project was her senior thesis, which focused on the economic policies of emerging markets. Bethany chose to study the economic reforms in Brazil, India, and China, examining how these countries had managed to achieve rapid economic growth while addressing social inequalities. Her thesis, Economic Reforms in Emerging Markets, a Comparative Analysis, was a comprehensive study that combined quantitative data with qualitative insights. She interviewed policymakers, economists, and business leaders to gain a holistic understanding of the challenges and successes of these reforms. Her work was so impressive that it was published in a leading economics journal, a rare achievement for an undergraduate student. Experiences as a young mother. Balancing her academic pursuits with the responsibilities of motherhood was one of Bethany's greatest challenges. She was a single mother to a young son, and the demands of her role as a parent often required her to make difficult choices. Despite the challenges, Bethany never wavered in her commitment to her son's well-being and her own education. Every morning before the sun rose, Bethany would wake up to prepare breakfast for her son and help him get ready for the day. She would then drop him off at daycare before heading to her classes. Her days were filled with a mix of lectures, study sessions, and work shifts at the restaurant. Evenings were reserved for homework and quality time with her son. Bethany's friends often marveled at her ability to juggle so many responsibilities without losing her sense of humor and optimism. One of the most challenging aspects of her life was the financial strain. Working full-time and attending school full-time left little room for leisure or relaxation. Bethany often had to rely on financial aid and scholarships to make ends meet. She applied for every scholarship and grant she could find, and her persistence paid off. She was awarded several scholarships that helped alleviate some of the financial burden, but the struggle was still real. Despite the challenges, Bethany found joy in the small moments. She cherished the time she spent with her son, whether it was reading bedtime stories or playing in the park. Her son's laughter and smiles were her greatest source of strength. She often shared her experiences with other student parents, offering advice and support. Her resilience and determination inspired many of her peers to persevere in their own academic and personal journeys. The community's response to her disappearance, January 2011, brought with it the promise of a new semester. The campus was quiet, still draped in winter's stillness, as students slowly returned from their holiday break. Bethany had just returned from Hawaii, a trip that held both hope and complexity. She was last seen at her apartment in Ashburn, Virginia, preparing for the upcoming term, her calendar already filled with class schedules and work shifts. When Bethany didn't show up for her first class, her friends and professors grew concerned. They tried calling her, but there was no response. The university administration was notified, and a search was initiated. Flyers with Bethany's picture and information were distributed around the campus and the surrounding community. Social media platforms were used to spread the word, and local news outlets covered the story. The community's response was immediate and overwhelming. Students, faculty, and residents of Ashburn came together to help in the search efforts. Search parties were organized, and volunteers combed through the woods, parks, and neighborhoods, hoping to find any sign of Bethany. The local police department and the FBI were also involved, conducting a thorough investigation. Bethany's disappearance left a profound impact on the university community. Her usual seat in the front row, where she would engage in thoughtful discussions about international development and economic theory, remained empty. Her study group partners noticed the silence where her insightful comments should have been. The Global Affairs Department, known for its diversity and inclusion, rallied together, organizing vigils and support groups for those affected by her disappearance. The search continued for weeks, but despite the best efforts of everyone involved, Bethany was never found. Her disappearance remains a mystery, and the community continues to remember her and the impact she had on their lives. Impact on policies and support systems for student parents. Bethany's story became a catalyst for change in the way universities and communities support student parents. Her experience highlighted the unique challenges faced by young adults balancing multiple responsibilities and the need for comprehensive support systems. In the years following her disappearance, George Mason University implemented several initiatives to support student parents. The university established a resource center specifically for student parents, providing them with access to counseling, academic support, and financial assistance. Scholarships and grants were created to help alleviate the financial burden, and flexible class schedules were introduced to accommodate the needs of student parents. The restaurant where Bethany worked also took steps to support working student parents. They established a scholarship fund in her name, providing financial assistance to employees who were pursuing higher education. The fund has helped numerous young parents continue their education and build better futures for themselves and their families. Personal anecdotes from friends, family, and professors. Bethany's friends, family, and professors remember her with fondness and admiration. Each person who knew her has a unique story to tell, a testament to the profound impact she had on their lives. Friend, Sarah Thompson. Sarah, one of Bethany's closest friends, recalls a study session they had in the library. We were working on a group project, and Bethany was explaining a complex economic theory. She had a way of breaking it down into simple, understandable terms. We were all struggling, but she made it seem so easy. After the session, we went to get coffee, and she started talking about her son. Her eyes lit up, and you could see how much she loved him. She was so dedicated to both her studies and her family. It was inspiring. Professor, Dr. John Williams. Dr. Williams, Bethany's economics professor, remembers her as one of the most dedicated students he had ever taught. Bethany was always the first to arrive and the last to leave. She would stay after class to discuss her ideas and ask for feedback. Her essays were always thoughtful and well-researched. She had a unique ability to connect economic theories to real-world issues. Her absence was deeply felt by the entire department. We miss her passion and her insights. Family, Bethany's mother, Linda Decker. Linda, Bethany's mother, speaks of her daughter with pride and love. Bethany was always a bright and determined child. She knew what she wanted and worked hard to achieve it. When she became a mother, she took on that role, with the same dedication. She was a wonderful mother, and her son adored her. Her disappearance was a devastating blow to our family, but her memory continues to inspire us. We are proud of the person she was and the impact she had on others. The broader context of her studies in global and economic change. Bethany's studies in global and economic change were not just academic pursuits, they were deeply personal. She believed that understanding the economic forces shaping the world was essential for creating positive change. Her interest in global economics was sparked by her own experiences growing up in a working-class family. She saw firsthand how economic policies could affect people's lives, and she was determined to make a difference. One of the key themes in her studies was the importance of inclusive economic growth. Bethany believed that economic policies should not only focus on increasing GDP, but also on reducing inequality and improving the well-being of all citizens. She was particularly interested in the role of education in economic development. She argued that access to quality education was crucial for breaking the cycle of poverty and creating opportunities for marginalized communities. Bethany's approach to her studies was characterized by a deep sense of empathy and a commitment to social justice. She understood that behind every economic theory and policy decision were real people with real lives, hopes, and dreams. This human-centered approach influenced her academic work and her interactions with others. Legacy and continuing impact. The legacy of Bethany's journey extends far beyond the confines of campus or community. It speaks to the resilience of the human spirit, the importance of compassion in our daily interactions, and the power of education to open doors to new possibilities. Her story reminds us that behind every student, every worker, every parent pursuing their dreams, there is a unique human story worthy of support and understanding. In the years since her disappearance, Bethany's story has become a symbol of hope and resilience. Her memory continues to inspire positive changes in the community. The Global and Economic Change Program at George Mason University now emphasizes the human element in all its teachings, reflecting perhaps of Bethany's approach to her studies. She understood that behind every economic theory and policy decision were real people with real lives, hopes, and dreams. The restaurant where she worked established a scholarship fund for working student parents, ensuring that others following in her footsteps would have additional support in pursuing their dreams. Her former professors often speak of her as an example of perseverance and determination, inspiring new generations of students to pursue their goals despite obstacles. In the quiet moments between classes, when the afternoon sun streams through the windows of the Global Affairs building, students still gather in study groups, sharing their dreams and supporting each other's journeys. This spirit of community and mutual support is perhaps one of the most meaningful aspects of Bethany's legacy. The economic theories Bethany studied speak of how small changes can create ripple effects throughout entire systems. In her own way, she created such ripples through the lives she touched and the inspiration she provided. Her approach to life, balancing ambition with compassion, determination with kindness, continues to resonate. Today, the George Mason University campus stands as a testament to the power of education to transform lives. In its halls, new generations of students pursue their dreams, supported by strengthened community networks and resources. The Global and Economic Change Program continues to evolve, always mindful of the human stories behind the statistics and theories. The suburban streets of Ashburn have changed over the years, but the community's spirit of caring and support remains unchanged. In local restaurants, young servers still work their way through college, perhaps inspired by stories of those who came before them, balancing work, study, and life with grace and determination. Each spring, as cherry blossoms return to Northern Virginia, they bring with them reminders of renewal and hope. In these moments, the community remembers Bethany's bright spirit, her dedication to creating positive change, and the importance of supporting one another through life's challenges. The legacy of Bethany's journey extends far beyond the confines of campus or community. It speaks to the resilience of the human spirit, the importance of compassion in our daily interactions, and the power of education to open doors to new possibilities. Her story reminds us that behind every student, Every worker, every parent pursuing their dreams, there is a unique human story worthy of support and understanding. In the end, it's not just about the dreams we pursue, but the lives we touch along the way. Bethany understood this inherently, making time to help others even as she worked toward her own goals. Her approach to life, finding joy in the journey, sharing strength with others, and maintaining hope in the face of challenges, continues to inspire those who learn her story. As new students walk the paths of George Mason University, as they gather in study groups and engage in discussions about global change, they are part of a continuing story of hope, resilience, and community. It's a story that reminds us that every person's journey deserves support, every dream warrants encouragement, and every life has the potential to create positive change in the world. The future Bethany envisioned, one of positive global change and economic opportunity, remains a goal worth pursuing. Her spirit lives on in the countless small acts of kindness and support that occur daily in classrooms, workplaces, and communities across Northern Virginia and beyond. For those who knew Bethany, and for those who learn of her story, there is a shared understanding that education is more than just acquiring knowledge. It's about growing as individuals, supporting one another, and working together to create positive change in the world. This understanding, this commitment to compassion and community, is perhaps the most meaningful tribute to her memory.